and welcome to my review of Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 141. We stay with Sun Eater, which is really great because then we get like his part of the story like kind of out of the way, and then yeah, we can move on to something new next time. But I did enjoy this chapter because it starts up with, again, Sun Eater just kind of like having the upper hand, and then you have, it got a big bang for it, and it looks like he's not about to die, but he looks at a big disadvantage because it is again a 3 versus 1. But then he wins, and I love the way he wins. I think that's the one thing I'm gonna talk about this time, because the way he wins is by exploiting their good side, basically. Because they talk about like their camaraderie or whatever, and how they care for each other in their own way. So he uses that against them and is like, well, you can't attack or eat, in this case, your own teammates, so that's what I'm gonna use against you. And I really like that, because Boku no Hero Academia has the thing where they just fuck with tropes. Because the thing that usually happens in shonen or general action movies where there's a hero and a villain is that the hero will usually exploit the bad side of the villain. So if they're arrogant, he'll play to that, so they'll be super arrogant and then they'll see their own weaknesses or whatever. Like, a really good example is the Crocodile versus Luffy fight, because Crocodile, was obviously the stronger of the two of them, but Luffy just agitated him so much that he just, like, he stopped thinking straight because he was so agitated and angry and just, yeah. So that, again, and Luffy might not have done this on purpose because he's not the kind of person, but he still might kind of have, that's like a good example of like a villain's bad side shining through so much that they actually lose a fight that they should have been able to win. In this case, Sun Eater exploits their good side. He exploits their humanity and how they kind of like each other, and they have this feeling of solidarity or whatever. And that's what makes him win. He takes advantage of that, and I really, really like that, because he wins, again, not by saying, look, you have this bad personality trait that I'm now going to use against you. He wins because he's like, oh, you have this one good thing that I can use against you, because even though you're my enemy, you still have humanity. Like, you're still, yeah, have your humanity. That's not a thing that's like completely gone, because that's a good thing. You know, all the shonen series who are really, really good have good villains that aren't like straight up evil, because those characters, like, people like that don't exist in real life. And the best villains are the ones that you can either relate to in some way, shape, or form, or you can understand where they're coming from, or you can like see good traits in them. Like, you understand why they became like this. So you have the story of these three people: one who was like dumped by his girlfriend, and one who was like used by this moneymaker who also then abused the crystals, and then one guy who I forgot something about, he was starving on the street, I don't know. But they had these 3 different stories, and you understand that they were in a really bad place, and then Chisaki or whoever came along and was like, well, you are the kind of people who should just rot in this place, so come work for me, and just, instead of dying for just this shit reason, come die for me instead. And Tamaki is like, yeah, okay. So this, what Chisaki did to them isn't necessarily a good thing. It's like, he still kind of brainwashed them, because they aren't fully there of their own choice. Like, it might have been better to have some kind of purpose than to just die on the street for stupid reasons that they couldn't fully control, but still, they should maybe not die for him if they wanted to do something with their lives, right? So I guess that's kind of debatable, like, how you view that. But I really like that these characters weren't like straight up evil. They were just, this was just a product of what society had done to them and circumstances in life. I really, really like that. I think that was like the main thing I took away from this chapter, because everything else was just like action. But I really did like also Tamaki, how he was like, I've been training this quirk and UA for 2.5 years now, and this is what I have to show for it. So you have how he can like fully utilize like offense and defense and the different like parts of the animals that he's eaten or food products that he's eaten or whatever, and then you have like the big chimera thing that he does with the big panel. That was like really freaking great. So I really like that because this is like what can you say? That's what we're gonna see Deku in 2 years time, because in 2 years time he will kind of be at the same place as Tamaki, like he's fully started to understand and be able to use his quirks to the fullest. So not only like kind of like with in the beginning he was just like, oh, All Might does punches, so I'm gonna do punches in my own kind of way where I destroy my arms, and then slowly he learns to control it, and he learns that okay, I can also use kicks and I can do this and this and that. So in 2 years time he will have had like a similar kind of experience to Tamaki, where he's like, I've trained so hard for 2.5 years and I know my quirk now, and I understand how to use it, and I understand how to use it in different circumstances and what it can do, and then he'll be a great hero. So yeah, I really like that, how experience is definitely like a key element in becoming a good hero and just controlling your quirk. Because I've talked about this before with the Deku versus Kachan fight. I said there's no way Kachan will lose because he's got more experience with his quirk than Deku has. And it's the same thing that All Might told Kachan back in the end of the term exam thing. He was like, you have the more experience, you're at level 50 and Deku's still at level 10. So yeah, I like how experience is definitely a good thing in this series. Like, you don't just have that one prodigy who's better than everyone else. They all have their experiences, they all have like different things. So I like that. I think this chapter really showcased why Boku no Hero Academia is such a good series, and that's without even having any of the main characters in the chapter. I thought that was amazing. Because I wouldn't put this in like one of my favorite chapters. I thought last week was definitely better, and I said that as well, like I was so close to tears. But I still think that this chapter really shows what Boku no Hero is. Like, as a series, it has everything you'd expect from a shonen manga. You have the great action, you have the heroes and the villains, but you also have villains who you can relate to, you can understand where they're coming from. You have relatable heroes who may not be like the really hero-esque Mirio type people, but you have Tamaku, who has anxiety, as we talked about last time, or last time again, I don't know. And this chapter is just so good in its own right. Again, I still think the last chapter was better, but this just showcased what Boku no Hero is, I feel like, with the exception of my favorite thing, which is Deku and Kachan's relationship. That was a noise from my computer. But I think that's what I have to say about the chapter, because it was very action heavy and I'm not just gonna go through everything that happened. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope we don't stay. I hope there's not more with Tamaki now, unless he's like going on a quest to find the others and then bumps into something, I don't know. But I hope we get to the other group now, because I'm still really interested in seeing Aizawa, what his legitimate role will be in this. And if anyone is gonna... I also want to see where Mirio is, because they were like, oh, even though he can like slip through this maze of shit, him alone won't be enough. So yeah, I'm super interested in seeing what will happen to Mirio. But yeah, you can like if you like anything that I had to say. Leave me a comment below what you thought of the chapter, and you can subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, bye!